Tonight on Elon Local News.
It's certainly because people are letting down their guard.
As COVID-19 numbers trend downward, other illnesses are on the rise.
Summer is on the horizon, the pressure some are feeling to stay in shape.
And a trip down memory lane, how Elon seniors are remembering their 4 years at the university.
Those stories and more.
Elon Local News starts right now.
Live from the Jane and Brian Williams studio at Elon University School of Communications, you're watching Elon Local News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Brian Ray.
And I'm Ashlyn DeLoughy.
We begin tonight with political news. North Carolina is one of 6 states to gain a congressional seat as a result of the 2020 census. North Carolina, Florida, Montana, Oregon, and Colorado will each add 1 seat, while Texas will gain 2. California, Illinois, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia each lost 1 seat. North Carolina had been expected to gain a 14th seat in the House of Representatives, and its addition gives the state an extra member of the Electoral College for the 2024 and 2028 presidential elections. The U.S. House of Representatives has 435 seats based on population. The number of seats for each state can change based on updated data collected by the Census Bureau every decade. States that grow in population may gain House seats at the expense of shrinking states. The number of total representatives has not changed since 1913. The biggest question now for lawmakers is where this new congressional district will be drawn in the state, and if drawn in time, the new districts will take effect for the 2022 election.
Coronavirus case counts are trending downward here at Elon. There is 1 new case today and there are 5 active cases on campus. Only 4 students have tested positive for the virus in the last week. Elon University's medical director, Dr. Jeanette Archinal, says the current case count reinforces the importance of getting vaccinated.
I'd like to say it's because everybody is super cautious and not partying and not doing anything. But the reality is, what's the point of a vaccine if you can't then have a sort of less restrictive life?
But as positive coronavirus tests are going down, other positive tests are going up. Dr. Archinal says Elon is seeing an increase in respiratory infections like mononucleosis or strep throat. She says this comes after not seeing a spike in infections during the fall and winter seasons.
Some of that may just be because people are more comfortable coming in to health centres, less likely to be doing virtual visits with their doctor at home. But it's certainly because people are letting down their guard. We can't let down our guard on other infectious diseases just because we think we've got a handle on COVID.
Archinal also says more people are contracting sexually transmitted diseases, not only on campus, but across the country.
With summer just a few weeks away, anxieties about getting into shape are common. But this year, the pandemic may increase pressure to have a so-called summer body. A new study published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences finds that pandemic-induced stress may be linked to increased body image issues among men and women. Body image is how you see yourself when you look in the mirror or how you picture yourself in your mind. Assistant Professor of Psychology Alyssa Solomon says the pandemic adds more pressure for people to look a certain way.
People kind of saying, oh, well, you should have utilized this time to, make yourself more acceptable is also just unfortunate and probably can have a negative impact on people's, self-esteem and body image.
Solomon says that some of that negative mindset can come from our phones.
There seems to be an association between exposure to especially image-based behaviors and content on social media and at least negative outcomes for body image.
According to the National Eating Disorders Association, people with negative body image have a greater likelihood of developing an eating disorder. They are also more likely to suffer from feelings of depression, isolation, low self-esteem, and obsessions with weight loss. Elon senior Taylor Cruz has struggled with body image since middle school. She says it's something she's still working through as she prepares for another summer during the pandemic.
I'm not sure if it's something that I'll ever fully, get over, but it's something that I've definitely learned to work through. And it just pops up at random times in your life. But I think this summer is a big time as well.
When Cruz struggles, she leans into the people who support her most.
It's never, ever a bad thing to reach out to a therapist or a counselor or your mom or dad or an older brother or sister. I think that is so much better than keeping it inside.
If you or someone you know needs professional resources or support, contact Elon Counseling Services at 336-278-7280.
Tonight, the Student Union Board is hosting comedian Daniel Franzesi, who you may recognize. He played Damien in the movie Mean Girls. He'll be performing live in person, and students can go to the Elon sub-office in Moseley 120 to claim their free ticket. Franzesi will be performing in McKinnon Hall, but students can also watch from Moseley 215 or upstairs Lakeside. Elon sophomore Grace Clift planned the event and says sub felt the Mean Girls actor was a good fit to bring to Elon.
So tonight I'm really just excited to see a group of students together that get to experience this and watch hopefully what is going to be a really great evening of comedy.
There are fewer than 30 tickets left for students to view the performance in upstairs Lakeside. The performance starts at 8 p.m. tonight.
Tomorrow, 234 Elon students will present their research at the Spring Undergraduate Research Forum, or SURF Day. The presentations are entirely online this year due to COVID-19, but students can visit any of the presentations using Zoom and Gather. Elon senior Ali Curran is presenting her research tomorrow in another language.
Events like this are really great to kind of spread awareness for world languages and cultures and just being aware of them. So I just hope that this kind of thing continues throughout the next however many years that Elon's around, because I think it's a really great program despite all the hard work and craziness and stress that's gone into it.
You can find the SURF program booklet on the undergraduate research website or via the email students received today. Students attending a session using Gather must register with their Elon email. Presentations begin at 8:30 tomorrow morning and end at 5:30. A description of each presentation can also be found in the program booklet.
It's been 1 month since Elon University's new Chief of Campus Safety and Police, Joseph Lemire, started in his role. He joins us now to talk about his job and what he hopes to accomplish. Chief Lemire, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So to start, based on your first month so far, what do you see as the biggest threat to the community, and what will you do to address it?
I don't know if there's any one thing that is the biggest threat. I think what is drawing the most attention right now is law enforcement interactions with the community, race relations, law enforcement actions that we take. Earlier in the year, before my arrival, there was the incident of the caravan vehicles that came through campus, people yelling stuff out. I think that atmosphere is one of the bigger threats, because it's not the verbal behavior necessarily, although it's offensive what some people were yelling. It's what could happen after that from assaultive behavior and other things. So I think what's most important for me in my position is doing what I've been doing up to this point, gathering a lot of relationships, meeting with a lot of people, listening to a lot of opinions and insight and everything I can to learn more and more about Elon, the Elon community, and the campus.
And going off with working with the community, how do you plan on building trust between yourself and Elon students, specifically students of color, and specifically during a time where tensions between police and communities are high?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the problems across the country right now, is that divide. I've had a lot of time in these first few weeks and coming up. I've met with Jewish Hillel, Black Student Union, coming up this week, Latinx Hispanic Union, student government. I think it's important that I meet with those groups and hear them to find out what it is they need from the police department and what they expect to see, and my interaction with law enforcement away from campus and what their experiences are. I need to gather those relationships and partner with them and collaborate with them, but I need to hear them out first. What I've always prided myself on, and I would counsel other chiefs to do the same, is don't manage by crisis. So I had a great relationship both in Milwaukee and Oshkosh with the LGBTQIA Resource Center, Black Student Union, Latinx, Hispanic. And the thing is, you can't always reach out to these groups when there's a crisis. So right now across the country, there's things that are going on, and then the police reach out, but it always seems to be in crisis, where your relationship and your collaboration and your friendship building ought to be throughout the year, and it ought to be constant. You ought to be meeting on a regular basis and talking, so people get to know you by name, they get to know the officers by name. You have some events where the only time the police are on the scene is not just for a security incident. I would like to be able to show up at a scene where people are just happy to see you there, or an officer show up and just say, you know, how's the event going? Once you build those organic relationships, they transcend then into the next year. So as other groups come on and different boards are created, people graduate and move on, that you have that continuity that you're meeting with these groups. So as things come up, you're not reaching out at that time to try to figure out what you can do. You've already built the relationships, and now you can really address what it is to kind of heal it, figure out what we need to do here, and then move forward from that. So those relationships and the collaborations are really important.
Yeah, and what have you done so far in your first month that you think will have an impact on our community?
I've had those meetings with those groups. I definitely had several meetings with Jewish Hillel. And I think as the students get to know me as a person and I get to know them as a person, I think that's really important. I also reached out to Dr. Randy Williams because I think Dr. Randy Williams has great relationships, obviously, with underrepresented groups. And sometimes with a police department, you can't just will yourself to collaborate with people. They have to want to collaborate with you. So over time, and what I've done by these initial relationships and these initial meetings is build trust with people so they're willing to meet with you. You have to have that piece first. I can't just say, well, I want to partner with, say, Black Student Union and force myself into the room. That's not really how collaboration and friendship and partnerships work. You have to kind of build up that credibility and that trust. Then they're willing to have you in the room and partner with them and collaborate. And the other thing, too, is these are students that are going into different majors and different things on campus. You also want to be an agency as a police. We're also celebrating what they do. I don't want to just show up because it's a police thing to do. I also want to show up when I congratulate and support them in what they're doing academically, athletically, all those types of things, and support them and congratulate them on that.
Well, Chief Lemire, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
And still to come, how some Elon seniors are going back in time.
And how the women's soccer team is gearing up for the NCAA tournament. This week is the last week for seniors to cross off bucket list items. The Senior Class Giving Committee created the Senior Bucket List, a competition where seniors can cross off Elon traditions and activities for a chance to win a prize. Some of the items include supporting local businesses, taking a picture in front of the Martin Alumni Center, and reconnecting with a friend from your first year. Senior Kristen Chan is one of the winners. She says she is trying to complete the list with a friend she met her freshman year.
I had no idea that this was something that Elon did for their seniors, and I'm really glad that I heard about it and have been participating in it because it's a great way to just kind of reminisce on my 4 years here and go back to the people, the places, or even organizations that have made an impact on me and made me who I am today. So I'm really grateful that I'm able to have this bucket list to complete and have a reason to go back to those places.
And Brian, I know that you're, a graduating senior yourself. Are you looking forward to, crossing some of your own bucket list items, whether it be on this list or not?
Yeah, definitely. I have started my own little bucket list of things to do. One of them has been revisiting old friends from freshman year, which has been nice to catch up, but I'm not, competing in this, but props to them for doing that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And to win a prize, send pictures of you completing bucket list items to elonnewseniors@gmail.com.
Well, the women's soccer team is set to play University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee in Cary on Wednesday for the NCAA tournament. Head coach Neil Payne says the team is preparing like it's just another game with the hopes to keep playing.
Really poised and excited to take it into the next game. And I don't think they are, they don't want to stop playing. So, the enthusiasm's there and the energy's there. And all we can ask for on Wednesday is a good performance.
The game will be live streamed for free on ncaa.com. For more on how to watch and what to expect, head to elonnewsnetwork.com. And Elon men's golf is competing in the CAA tournament. They are currently in 5th place, and tomorrow is the last day. If they win the CAA, they will then play in the NCAA tournament.
Some people who participated in Elon's marriage pact might be put on a wait list. The 50-question survey matches students through an algorithm, but that algorithm matches people one-to-one. As of now, organizers say about 460 straight females might not get a match. Whether you are looking for a romance or just a new friend, you have until tomorrow at 4 p.m. to take the marriage pact questionnaire. Elon Jr. Weston Lacron says he took it just to see what would happen.
Like part of me that hopes that I could potentially be compatible with the person I match with, just to see. Because part of me definitely wonders. just because I haven't like explored the Elon dating scene really, to its fullest.
The Marriage Pack emailed Elon students with a link to take the survey, but the correct link is on their Instagram page. You can see right now, I started to take the quiz earlier today. The first few questions are a little bit about yourself, some background information, so your name, your email, your major. It even asked me like what child I was, like first, middle, or youngest, so that I thought was interesting. And then as you continue on, it asks a few more in-depth questions. I have not finished it, but Brian, have you taken it yet?
Unfortunately, I have. I did it, just for fun, just to throw my hat in there. Quickly regretted it.
Oh.
But it's okay, it's okay.
Quickly regretted it. Well, I know a lot of people are just, trying to take it to see what would happen. I mean, curious about their match. You never know. I mean, it could be someone you know. It could be someone you've never met before.
Definitely, yeah.
You never know here on campus.
I know, it's very true.
Well, over 800 Elon students have submitted the survey since April 19th. Students will get an email with their matches this Wednesday. It is then up to them to reach out to their match.
Guess I'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, after the break, hear from two of the newest Lumen scholars.
And when we get back, I'll be here to tell you how you can prepare for this week's weather.
Well, Brian, it was a bit cold this weekend, cold and rainy, and for, it almost being May, I wasn't expecting it.
I know, I've gotten so used to, the 70s, low 80s, sunny all the time, so it's definitely a weird change I was not expecting.
No, summer is just right around the corner, and I was expecting, again, that 70, 80-degree weather. But, our Naomi Washington is live on Citroen Plaza with the Phoenix 5-day forecast. Naomi, how's it looking out there?
Thank you guys so much. As you can see, it's a great day outside on Citroen Plaza. There's people out here walking, running, and sitting outside at tables at downtown Elon. This morning, I took a walk past the admissions building and through the academic pavilions, and it was super sunny, the sky was blue, and the birds were chirping. Throughout the day, we've experienced weather in the mid-70s. Here's your 5-day forecast. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we'll experience weather in the high 80s with lows in the high 50s, so get outside if you haven't already this spring. And Friday, our good weather will unfortunately be interrupted with a 40% chance of rain with a high of 79 and a low of 57. And then Saturday will be have some nice spring weather temps with a high of 72. So you can leave your umbrella home this week for most of the week, but I would recommend throwing it in your backpack for Friday for that 40% chance of rain. Enjoy your week, and back to you guys.
Naomi Washington with your Phoenix 5-day forecast. Thanks, Naomi. And the sun is out, but so are the snakes. The North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission is warning that the warmer weather may bring more snakes out. They say they're commonly seen along trails, in the woods, in yards, and even crossing roads. Biologists at the commission say 70% of snake bites happen when people try to kill or handle them. So they say if you see one, keep your distance.
As students get ready to present their research tomorrow, some students are preparing to start their research of their own. Elon University has named the 2021 Lumen Scholars. Students are given $20,000 in grants to support their research. Elon sophomore Mallory Puff says she is grateful for the opportunity. Faculty member students work on their projects for 2 years. Elon sophomore Kira Hunter says she is excited to conduct research.
I would say Lumen provides a support group and a networking that I probably wouldn't have been exposed to lest I have applied for it, and then in the future it provides a strong foundation for research.
Lumen scholars are able to conduct their research efforts on or off campus.
Coming up, Elon's a cappella groups are singing in person again for the first time in more than a year.
You're watching Elon Local News.
With limited opportunities for in-person performances this year, a cappella groups at Elon have gone creative to continue their passion. Now they are returning to performing in person. Our Andrew Zakari has more.
Elon a cappella group Vital Signs is getting ready for its first live show since the start of the pandemic. With more people getting vaccinated and increased outdoor gathering limits, They will perform at O'Kelly Field this Friday, April 30th at 6 p.m. Vital Signs member Jack Mullins says it feels good to be able to perform with his group again in person.
I think 2 weeks ago, we really finalized like, oh, okay, we can do this. We're doing this. And I'm super excited because I have not performed with the group live since probably a year ago.
Elon a cappella group Twisted Measure already held their first in-person concert with a full set of 11 songs. President of Twisted Measure Molly Herson says a lot of planning went into the live show.
We have a month to make this happen, and if we're going to do it, we're going to do it well. So the whole group was on board. They were super excited that we were going to be able to have this opportunity.
Herson says the group enjoyed getting back to singing in front of a crowd.
So our concert, not only was it just going to be something fun for all of us, it was actually going to be a really rewarding performance because we were going to sound almost as good as we would if we were inside of Whitley like a normal year.
Despite the hiatus of in-person performances, Mullen has high hopes for the upcoming concert.
Yeah, we're doing 5 songs, and I think I hope it goes really well. Everyone's working really hard, and I'm really excited about it.
Mullen is happy to see the seniors in his group have one last in-person performance before they move on from Elon. Andrew Zagari, Elon Local News.
And Twisted Measure's performance is going to be live streamed on YouTube at 7:30 p.m. on May 11th. And I have to say, it's very exciting that we're starting to have live in-person events just like concerts.
Yeah, for sure. And like you as a dance major, I'm sure, it feels good to maybe be able to do that one more time this year.
Yeah, it's totally a different feeling, performing in person and having that live audience. It makes a big difference.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So it's really great that they're able to do that now.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the news we have for you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
For all the news you need to know when we're not on the air, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
And be sure to give us a follow on all our social media platforms at Elon News Network.
Have a great night, Elon, and stay safe.